My mother punished me years ago because she thought I started a fight with my sister and hit her without reason. She didn't see my broken doll lying under the bed. I never told her that my sister broke it, which is why I got upset. I didn't speak up. I didn't tell her that my sister had broken the doll. Instead, I avoided playing with my sister from that moment on. Since I was always silent, I had no choice in anything. What was left after everyone else made their decision was mine because I didn't complain, I didn't speak, and I didn't show objections. When I married my cousin, I didn't complain about anything. Our marriage lasted for 3 years, and we separated at the beginning of the 4th year. The blame was placed on me because I couldn't talk. No one asked me how I felt during those years, but I was told that I failed to make my marriage work, that I failed to make my husband happy. My ex-husband never missed an opportunity to point out my flaws in front of others. The burned food at the beginning of our marriage, my frequent forgetfulness, my refusal to spend long hours with his family, my constant lateness because I didn't know how to tie my shoes, and my forgetting where I placed my hairpins. He never understood that I forgot things because I was overly fearful of losing them, and he never bothered to ask me why. He never appreciated the hours I spent preparing his favorite meal or the neat table I set with candles. He didn't understand that I never got along with his family, even though I tried to get closer to them. His mother, my aunt, never accepted me, and he never gave me a chance to complain. He never asked me about my favorite colors, foods, or places I wanted to visit. He always saw himself as the center of the world, and no one else mattered. So, when I reached my breaking point, I decided to separate, even though his flaws far outweighed any positive traits I once saw in him. All I could say was that living with him was impossible. Everything between us had ended. At that point, he thought he had no flaws and that I was the only one at fault. For the first time in my life, I didn't care. I wished that one day the world would change, that a new story would be told, one that highlights the silent side, the one who always remains quiet. I wished that people like me would have a voice because someone actually cared enough to listen. In this world, the one who lies and cries wins. When I was struggling, I asked my mother if I could go to work, to be among more people in the hope that it would make me feel a little better. Everything seemed fine at work, except for Mina, a man who had been secretly following me for 5 months. I saw him as being like my cousin, so I avoided him. Despite his office being next to mine, he would watch me whenever I carried files, knowing that I often forgot where I placed them. He would come over without me asking and tell me where I could find them. I would pretend indifference and thank him, though I already knew where they were. When my manager asked me to gather and print the company's work from the last 4 years, I sat in front of the computer, confused and anxious. I remembered how the girl who used to hold my position had taught me how to work on the computer. Everything felt unfamiliar, and I noticed Mina approaching me without hesitation. He asked if there was a problem, and I quickly replied, "No, I'm just doing what the manager asked." He stood for a moment before telling me that the manager had sent him to help me. That was when I felt my spirit return. He sat next to me, helped me with the task, and stayed until the last page was printed. Before leaving, he told me, "You're excellent at your work. The manager was right when he said you deserve this position more than anyone else." It was his words of encouragement that gave me the strange energy to finish even more work that day. I thought I would be fired by the end of the week, but because of his encouragement, I managed to complete everything. One day, Mina sat next to me on the long wooden bench in the company garden. He pointed to my shoe with its crooked lace and said, "It looks like the laces on my shoes when I was 17. But I learned how to tie them properly from a friend. I can teach you too." He bent down, adjusted his laces, and showed me a simple way to tie them. I'll never forget that when my manager increased my workload due to my quick achievements, Mina angrily told me to complain about the excessive demands, saying either my salary would increase, the workload would decrease, or I'd leave the company. At first, I refused, but after his persistence every day, I went to my manager and repeated what Mina had said. Nothing changed in the world. I didn't die, I didn't lose my tongue, and I didn't lose anything, as I had feared. In fact, my salary was increased because they couldn't afford to lose me after all the work I had completed in such a short time. When I returned home to tell my mother about my biggest achievement, that I had complained for the first time, the words started flowing from my mouth. I told her about my past life, about my aunt, my ex-husband, and the 3 years I spent in fear. I told her about the broken doll that she never saw, and about my desire to always complain. To my surprise, she was the best listener I could have hoped for. Talking to her was the best thing I had done in my life. I'll never forget when I stood before the world for the first time and repeated the decision to change my life. I owe it all to Mina. I didn't know how to thank him, so I baked him a lemon cake, which is the best thing I know how to make. I had once seen a photo of his mother, who had passed away when he was young, and I instantly fell in love with her. She had raised a man who is everything a person could hope for. With Mina, I feel like the most important woman on earth. He taught me how to speak up and that objections matter. In some way, I felt that life deserved another chance. When Mina asked for my father's phone number to propose to me, I told him I was divorced. His face didn't change, and he didn't hesitate or change his mind. When I agreed, we decided on a 1-year engagement to get to know each other better. During that year, I was sure that he was a man I could trust with my life. He taught me how a woman should be treated. After our marriage, I often stood in the kitchen with Mina's mother, learning from her the skills I had gained in cooking. Sometimes Mina would stand with us, making vegetable salad. Mina bought me a bag and gave me a special place in it to store the hairpins I always forgot about, so I wouldn't have to search for them every day. Mina is truly a man in every sense of the word.
From this story, remember to choose the right life partner. Choose someone who knows your flaws, but doesn't confront you with them. Instead, they fix them or accept them as they are and work to improve them without hurting or criticizing you. They do what's right with love, without always pointing out your flaws, without trying to correct them. They listen to you. The most important thing is to listen to the other person. You must ask, let them speak, and listen to them. Please, choose the right partner, someone who will support you and help you improve, who encourages you with their words. You're excellent. You're good at cooking, even if you have flaws. Now, I ask you to like this video, share it, or leave a comment so that we can change and become better together with you. We'd be honored to have you as a partner in this channel. Welcome, and we're happy to have you with us. Will you choose us? Please support us with a like. Thank you.